How are we doing? How's everybody doing tonight? Hope you're doing great. Hang on just a second. I got a bit of a weird... There we go. There we go. Got a little bit of a different setup in here now, so I'm kind of still reorganizing some things. So got my main screen over here, kind of relayed out my desktop setup. But enough about that. How are y'all doing tonight? Fabregas, haven't seen you around these parts in a while. Thank you for the $5. Sorry, man, I haven't been around a lot in support lately. Appreciate what you... Hey, nah, no worries, man. Life gets wild for everybody. I'm going to throw a like on that. Thank you. I much appreciate that. What is going on? Got a lot of the usual suspects in the house tonight. Nelson, my brother, from another mother. How we doing? Fabregas, of course. Zach. What's up, brother, to you? Ace Pilot Rick Hunter flying in. We smashed that like button. Hey, I like where your head's at, man. Chris, what's up? Lindsay. Evening. That monetizing hype video was incredible, man. I'm gonna need more of those types of... Hey, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I'm just trying to branch out and do some different things with the content, but it always feels good to know it's appreciated, so thank you. Thank you for following up, Lindsay, and watching that on repeat. I do appreciate you. It's a great day for a great day. That's a great way to put it. Fabregas, The Last Samurai. Dude, that is one of my favorite movies of all time. Of all time. I feel, when I was watching that movie in the theater, I felt like I was Nathan Aldgren. Man, I wept man tears at the end of that movie when they're mowing down the samurais. Like, wept. I didn't shed a tear. I wept. One of the best movies ever made. It's so good. I love that movie so much. I'm a little partial though. I love Japanese culture, especially like ancient Japanese customs and stuff like that. It just really speaks to my heart. Orly, what's up? Busy week indeed, Zach. Busy week indeed. CGTO music. I'm always streaming when you're sleeping. Japanese Standard Time. Well, thank you for being here. I would love to do some different streams during different parts of the day and stuff. It's just right now I'm figuring out the whole full-time content creator schedule. Still kind of feeling it out, but thank you all for being patient. This is the first time I've streamed in over a week. I was a guest at the Richmond Comic and Toy Show, not this past weekend, but the weekend before that. And literally that Monday morning, me and my family packed up the car, went to Tennessee for about 4 days, get out of town, turn off the phones and all that kind of thing. Though I was on social media, I wasn't streaming, I wasn't making content, so apologies. That decision was kind of sudden to not put content and stuff out, but I had things kind of on the fire, but I wasn't going to be able to get them edited in time and fulfilling my obligations to the show I was at and doing a bunch of other stuff. It just didn't work out time-wise. But I have no more shows, conventions, or obligations until March. So I am locked in here with you all. You're getting your boy full-time. So aside from my marketing job stuff, I do freelance marketing and design and stuff like that, and animation stuff I'm working on, building out the studio, finishing Aurora. which you see right there, I will be full-time content creation, doing all different kinds of things. So thank you all for being patient. Yeah, I've heard Ghost of Yotei is amazing. I'm still playing Tactics. We're going to play a little bit of Tactics here in a little bit. I've just been grinding on Tactics. Like, I haven't progressed the story at all, but I've been just grinding. Grinding out levels and stuff like that with characters, trying to do jobs and things like that. So... But anyway, so I had a lot of you message me about that monetizing hype video. I'm glad everybody checked it out. That really made me feel good. I don't know. I don't think it did huge numbers, but it did numbers. I mean, it did okay. We're getting ready to get into full gear for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 content. I feel like we're pretty close to that stuff dropping. I think we're probably about a month out from hearing things. Like, not seeing anything, but from hearing things. So I'm trying to get some other stuff out there. Look, I've got lofty goals. My goal is to hit twice daily content. I'm not promising that, but that is my goal, to put out content twice daily. Fabercast, get out of my head. Get out of... That was going to be a surprise tonight. And thank you for the 10. I appreciate you. Coming in with another $10. I'm going to put a heart on that. Thank you very much. Look, every dollar you all super chat me and become a member and do all those kinds of things, it only just helps me get things for the studio and for building the studio up and everything. So thank you all. Everybody who supports and super chats and everything, I really do appreciate it. Every couple bucks, everything helps. Are you playing Final Fantasy Tactics Evil East Chronicles, and are you still doing the Final Fantasy movie thing? So, yes and yes. I totally was going to save this for later on in the stream, but since we're here, let's do it. So starting next week, I'm going to be sharing screenshots, among other things, with you all about the Final Fantasy VII Calamity story. I was trying to work on before. It was much more ambitious before. Like, it was going to be like this whole like 4-part mini movie thing. I was going to bring in other Final Fantasy content creators to do voice roles and stuff like that, but it became a thing, and I got a C&D order, and I'm not gonna say from who, Square Enix, because I mean, it's not a name you would know. It's just somebody in there, like I don't think it was acquisitions. I think it wasn't their legal department either. I want to say it was like their marketing department. I got a message that said you can't do a 4-part movie of this thing, but what I can do is a fan story. And what that means is it's not like fully animated, voice acted, all that kind of stuff, but I am going to have more details on what this is going to be now moving forward. Yo! What is going on? Steelers 4190, $10, joining a few late. Hope all's well. 7-1 going into our last regular season game, ranked 8th in 3A. Playing an 8-0 team ranked 2nd in 2A for the conference championship on Friday. Good luck, everybody. Throw up the medal horns for the coach. Good luck. Go take the championship, my friend. Go get it. Go get it, man. That's so cool, man. You're doing such a good job with those young kids, getting them out there, winning championships, teaching them how to live a championship-style life. Those kids that you're coaching are going to go a long way in life, man. Guarantee it. Guarantee it, man. So, throw some love in the chat for the coach here. But yeah, man, I'm excited for you, man. You're going to have to let us here in the community know how that goes. I'm really pulling for you, brother. Go get it. Go get it. there's no such thing as too ambitious on managing it. Hey, I totally get that. Like I totally live that life. Like I'm taking on a lot of ambitious things that I haven't talked with you all about yet. But a lot is coming. But when I say too ambitious as far as that goes, like I was kind of like, I wasn't stepping on Square Enix toes or anything like that, but I was just kind of like I was going too hard in the paint. Like I didn't really look into what it's okay for me to do and what it is not okay for me to do, and the level to which I was producing this project was going to be just a little more than what they were comfortable with. So I've got something they're more comfortable with, and we're going to do that thing. I guess they're more. Nobody said anything to me about it. I sent a couple emails. I didn't hear anything back. I'm assuming they're okay with it. We're just gonna rock. That's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna get it done. So yes, the Final Fantasy Calamity project is back online. I've been working on a few things for it here and there, just kind of in my own time when I'm taking a break for a few hours from working on Aurora and getting that OVA mini film finished, or pilot. It's a 1 hour. It's gonna be a 1 hour feature now, and we're hoping to have that done in March. The Aurora. So when I'm taking little breaks here and there in the studio, I'm pulling up my files for Final Fantasy Calamity and working on some things. So, but later this week, I will show you all a few things, what you can expect it to be, and what it won't be, if that makes any sense. So stay tuned. Details coming. Details are coming. So I'm excited to finally show that to everybody. Yeah, you're older, you're bolder, man. They're ready to get it. I'm excited for you, man. But yeah, so I kind of lost track where I was in the chat talking to everybody. Been playing Final Fantasy IV, and it is the first Final Fantasy in my Pixel Remastered journey where the story has grabbed me. Final Fantasy IV is, for me, where, well, the narratives start getting pretty good in Final Fantasy III. 4 is where the narratives start getting really good, like novel good. 5 is one of the most slept on Final Fantasies ever. Like, Final Fantasy V is amazing. And for my money, it's got some of the best character design work in the whole series. Yoshitaka Amano went nuts with the artwork on Final Fantasy V. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but when you get there, I think you'll understand. Final Fantasy V's artwork, like I've got the, you all see the sky back here on my shelf, right? Like right there, the collected volumes right there. I go to that artwork often just to kind of look at Amato's artwork, his style, what maybe influenced him, reading some of the stuff in there. Like it's good stuff. It's really good stuff. And I've also got my Aurora construction area back here. I've got like all the volumes, volume 3 of Aurora, and I've never shown you all this stuff before. I'll go ahead and show you. Like when people order these, like every new volume that comes out, like Omaku, my villain for the opening story arc, is on the front. This is the hardcover version. I've got some I'm getting ready to ship out back here. That's what I'm doing. Every volume that comes out has like a character bookmark that comes with that volume. And it's, where I'm a big JRPG fan, it's also a character bio on the back. Boom. So, yeah, that's one of the fun things we do. Anyway, it was just out back here, so I figured I would share that with you all. Got so much work we're doing on Aurora, but I'll get back into it. So, a lot... What, a Bobby? Has been a minute. No. If you say Final Fantasy VI is the greatest, you'll get no argument from me. It's a great game. It's a great game. Final Fantasy VI is amazing. It really all just depends on what you love, you know? Depends on what you love. But talking about the next one after 6, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, I think we're going to be getting some news soon. Not seeing it. I think we're going to start hearing some stuff in the next 4 or 5 weeks leading up. Because I think the press tour stuff is over for right now. And I think everybody's gearing up for the Game Awards. There are a couple other small shows and outlet things that are going to be happening between now and the Game Awards. But I think the big kahuna still to come is going to be the Game Awards. And I think we're going to see a lot of chatter in the lead up. My first Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy 1. And then my next one was Final Fantasy 4, which was Final Fantasy 2 on Super Nintendo. And then I played Final Fantasy 3 on Super Nintendo. Around the same time I played Chrono Trigger. And I liked Chrono Trigger way better. I just thought the story was more playful. I enjoyed it more. It was more palatable. But then 7 blew everything away. So, but I have nothing to base the whole remake news coming soon on. But basically, just like my gut feeling I always get about things, right? You know, the timing matches up with the marketing and, you know, all that other kind of stuff. I think Square Enix is going to go hard at the Game Awards. And here's something to think about. Where do you think Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3's big announcement is going to come in the show? I think there's one right answer here. I think it's the final thing we get. I don't think the Game Awards customarily does that. Like I think they just say we got a huge premiere here, and then they let the Game of the Year close the show, which they might still do. But if Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 isn't the very last thing they show before they go, I think it'll be the thing they show before the Game of the Year announcement. Which I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to the Game of the Year. I think it's better to let the Game of the Year have its moment and then show it. Because if you show it, people are buzzing because they just saw the Remake Part 3 trailer. Now people are going to argue, oh, it's not that big of a deal, they can show it whenever they want. It is a big deal. It's the end of the road for the Final Fantasy VII Remake project. Think about that for a minute. This is the end. This is it. So many people built their YouTube presence and started doing YouTube basically in general because of that game. I started doing YouTube regularly because people enjoyed my takes on Final Fantasy VII Remake and all that kind of stuff. We're almost to the end of the road. End of an era. And we're going to go hard. Trust me. Until that game comes out, and even after that game comes out, for the next year and a half. 2 years. We're going hard. You think I went hard before? You ain't seen nothing yet. I've got polls planned. I've got like top 5s planned. I've got all kinds of stuff planned in the lead up for Remake Part 3. And I think it all is going to start here in about a month. I've got some content I'm going to start putting out. Theory videos on characters, just fun stuff. Not theory videos like I did before, like, I think this is definitely happening, I think we're going to definitely see this character. It's going to be more like, wouldn't it be funny if? Wouldn't it be cool if? What do you think if? It's going to be stuff like that. To really, not so much show, and this is why I haven't been doing a lot of the theory videos. I've been trying to figure out how I want to proceed with them and making sure I do it the right way. Making sure I do it in a way that brings the community in, that we all are taking part in it. Fabregas, thanks for the other $5, man. Jeez Louise, you are helping a brother out tonight. Appreciate you. What's your goatee right now? Oh, it's Expedition 33. Clear Obscure. It's still not even close. Like, it's still not even close. Like, I'm a little biased because JRPGs are kind of my thing. No, Clear Obscure is not a JRPG, but it is. Like, it's built to be one. Like me working on Aurora right now is not technically an anime, but it's anime. Like, it looks, feels, breathes, smells, tastes, sounds like anime. If it looks, breathes, smells, tastes, looks, sounds like a JRPG, I would call it a JRPG. You know, I mean, it's all about the look, the feel, the experience, not so much about just where it's made. You know, that's my take. I know that's not everybody's take, but that's how I feel about it. Clear Obscure Expedition 33 is the goatee. Not only is it the goatee, it is a game changer for the industry. It's almost like a zeitgeist moment for the industry, really, that game is. But yeah, so yeah, it's definitely Clear Obscure Expedition 33. Yeah, Mad Kaiser. Yeah, I mean, if they want to do DLC all day after the game's over, fine. You know, if you want, I kind of hope they do an Advent Children or a Dirge of Cerberus DLC. I kind of hope they do. Because those games don't need their own standalone games. Just make them as like added content after you've beaten, you know, like Intermission. There's no reason Advent Children or even Dirge of Cerberus couldn't be like a souped up version of Intermission, right? That's how I feel about it. You could totally do that. No, Final Fantasy Tactics, I wouldn't consider to be in the GOTY competition. Like, that's outside the question. Because I don't think a remaster can be entered, if I'm correct. For GOTY. I might be wrong about that. I don't know all their criteria. I know they had to update it or something a year or two ago, but I'm not really sure. Like, I love Final Fantasy Tactics is the best written story Square has ever produced, and one of the best written games ever produced, period. Now, that's not saying it's the best game ever. I still think that's the original Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation. Followed closely by Chrono Trigger, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Expedition 33 is in that conversation for greatest game ever made. It really is. If you, like, for RPG fans, I mean, it really is. I mean, you got to call it like you see it. That game, the world loved that game. Not because they had nothing better to do that day. Like, the world fell in love with that game because it's really just that damn good. Like, even going in, like, all these influencers and stuff were like, you know, if you're going to play, you know, Oblivion 4, you're no gamer. You know, you need to support original IPs, and this game is great, and it's amazing. I got a advanced copy. I can tell you I love it. I was like, we'll see. I was like, we'll see what all the hype's about. A lot of you all started playing it before I started playing it. I started playing Oblivion remaster, if you all remember correctly. And then I played Expedition 33, and I was like 5-6 hours in. And I was like, yes, every word written about this game and said about this game so far is accurate. It is all accurate. That's a good point, but there's so many games that are made in Korea that people call JRPGs. I mean, are those KRPGs? Like, Chinese-made RPGs, or, you know, like, where do you stop on that? You know what I mean? So, Well, when I say JRPG, people know, what I mean. I remember people call Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past a JRPG. I was like, nah, it's not a JRPG. It's not. It's not a JRPG. It's Zelda. Yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics is like one of the GOATs. It's a jewel in the crown. Like, if there's a crown made for the greatest gaming experiences of all time, Final Fantasy Tactics is a jewel in there somewhere. People are just it's wild because people are just discovering Final Fantasy Tactics for the first time, and they're like, wow, how did I never play this? I'm like, well, you weren't into tactical games, and neither was I. I wasn't like a tactical game fan, but I knew it was like, it was fresh off the heels of Final Fantasy VII, and I was like, I just feel like I have to play this game, and because I was kind of back into Square Enix's stories. Like, I'd gotten out for a few years. I've been playing sports and all that kind of stuff for a few years. I wasn't really doing a lot of gaming. And I was about 17. I got 16 or 17. I got Final Fantasy VII. And then a year after that, like 17 or 18, I'm playing Tactics. And I was like, oh, they got me. They brought me back. The stories are damn good. They brought me back. Yeah, that's a healthy debate to have. I mean, if you say JRPG, well, even in Japan, they're like, no, it's just an RPG. Sure, it's a role-playing game. I get it. And I get that they don't want, like, it, to be any kind of deviation there. Like, they're like, hey, we're just role-playing. We're just making role-playing games. But to me, and I've said this before on this channel, to call something a JRPG is like a standard of excellence. Like, there's a lot of Japanese RPGs that aren't good. Like, there's a lot that aren't good. It's like anime, right? It's like anime. There are some, like the ones I have on my shelf, goated. Like, the top shelf, for those of you who don't know, top shelf is old anime DVD box sets. Like when they used to make the cool spine mural art for the box sets and stuff. GOAT status. Top shelf is GOAT status anime. 1% of anime that gets produced is good. 99% of it is not very good. Because it's just mass produced for money and stuff like that. Same thing with JRPGs. Like, a lot of the RPGs that come out of Japan, a lot of them aren't great. They're not. A lot of them are just mass produced. Now, the ones especially on mobile, every now and then you get a good one, but I don't play games on mobile. If I do, it's like something real quick, like Jewel Ancient or something like that. Something fun, something quick, But, yeah, JRPG is a symbol of excellence. Or at least it used to be. I think they need to get back to base. Square Enix. I'm looking at Square Enix here. Like Atlas, Nihon Falcom, a lot of those companies are killing it. Like Persona, killing it. Trails series, killing it. East series has always been killing it. Even if they have like a slightly off game, like Monstrum Nox, or whatever it was, East 9. East 8, Lacrimosa of Dana, was one of my favorite games that had come out in a long time. I love that game. Love that game. It's everything I love in a JRPG. Everything I love. Star Ocean, The Divine Force, one of the best games that Square Enix has made without Final Fantasy VII in the title. It's up there with like any of the Dragon Quest games they've done, and I'll die on that hill. I'll die on that hill. It's way better than Final Fantasy 15 or Final Fantasy 16. Star Ocean: The Divine Force destroys Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 16. Just scorched earth, just obliterates it. So I think there are teams that are getting back to it, but JRPG is a symbol of excellence, and I hope that I love that other American companies are doing that, Western companies, for them to come out with Expedition 33 and say we're basically just going to make a Brigadine. Oh no, no. Brigadine is killer. It is killer. I remember Brigadine. I don't have a copy of it on my shelf, but I remember playing that with a buddy of mine. Absolutely. But for them to come out and say, we're going to make a JRPG in a time when, you know, we could stay at Ubisoft and make action games, but we want to make the game we want to make, and we want to make it the way we feel like it should be made and tell our story, and for them to come out and do that, and for the world to fall in love with that game, it's the goatee. And it's a paradigm shift. It's causing this paradigm shift in the industry. Like I talked about it in that, like, what, 19-20 minute video I did about monetizing hype, you know, like Game Awards Inc. How, you know, I said, a lot of you all that watched me when we were about Summer Games Fest season, before Summer Games Fest kicked off, I was like, we're going to see, and what did I say? A lot of you all probably finished my sentence. I was like, we're going to see exactly where the future of the industry is going and what Keighley and them want to focus on, whether it's big AAA titles or they really want to give some love to indie creators and indie studios because of Clair Obscur. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. You know, they gave love to the indies. They gave love to all those indie publishers that needed a platform. And now we're off and running. So it was a paradigm shift, and it sent a lot of these other big companies reeling. I'm not saying it's because of, but I'd say a big part of these companies going back to basics, trying to figure out what they want to do with their games. And I'm not just talking about Square Enix here. I'm talking about different studios at Xbox. Everything is because of the success of Clair Obscur. It was a classic turn-based game with some new flavor, some new skin, some new spices thrown into it, but it's just a classic turn-based JRPG with great tactical elements and a great battle system. And they made the game they wanted to make. So Vandal Hearts was killer. Shadow Hearts. Who remembers Shadow Hearts on PS2? That's a great one. That's a great one. Fantastic game. Who remembers the bouncer? No one remembers the bouncer. Exactly, Chris. Yeah, I mean, Expedition 33, not only was it amazing, it was super profitable. That company can make any game they want for the next 10 years now because of Clair Obscur. And I think they should keep their staff small. Like, they can hire more people, but they don't need 1,000 people working there. Unless they just want to make tons more games. But the crucial element is the core creative behind those games. You know, don't spread yourselves thin. Don't spread yourself so thin that you can't collaborate and work together and bring that same vision to life. You need to keep that team tight. You need to keep it tight and stay focused. Keep making your brand and keep making your mark. Don't spread yourself thin because you got that money. Put that money in the bank. Put that money in the bank and keep working and doing it your way. I hope that's what they do, and I think they will. I'm not worried that they're going to go nuts. I think they will. I played the hell out of the bouncer too, dude. I beat the bouncer. I think you could unlock like different costumes and stuff like that. Like, I beat the bouncer once, and then I saw there were unlockables and stuff, and I was like, I don't know if I'm that in. I don't know if I'm that far in. There was a great PlayStation 2. I know we're just kind of rambling now, but we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. But I was going to kind of talk about the Final Fantasy VII news stuff coming out and then the Game Awards thing. But now we're kind of talking about whatever y'all want. And that's what this show is for. That's what this COFFMANITE Tuesday night is for. We talk about what y'all want to talk about. We take it where you want to take it. But talking about PlayStation 2 era, around that same time, there was a wonderful little game I played the hell out of. No one else has ever played it. Called Eve of Extinction. I loved that game. It was just like a beat 'em up kind of just an action game. Early stages of PS2. rough, untextured, polygonal kind of stuff. But I loved Eve of Extinction. I don't remember what company made that game. Here, let's look it up. Let's look it up. Here, hang on a second. I don't think it was Koei. But now I could totally see that being like a Koei game. Here we go. Oh man. Kidding me? Kidding me? not Claire Obscure, but Eve of Extinction, baby. Obscure Games, Eve of Extinction. Here it is. Oh my god. I remember it so well. These early days. Early days, baby. Yep. He's got this lightsaber looking baton thing. You can also get these different weapons. They're like katars. You can do all this crazy stuff. Look at this. Oh my god. Well, I say this is rough looking, but it's actually just slightly behind Resident Evil Code Veronica. Just behind it. Let me see if I can get some action in here. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this, baby. Yeah. Eve of Extinction. Let's go. Let's go. I'm going to have to stream this one night. Yeah. Charging the offices of wisdom. Yeah, dude. Oh my god. Okay. Enough of that. That might be a play. That might be a play one night. That might be happening. Good lord. Oni, dude, I love the artwork of Oni. That and Orphan. Those came out. I think Oni was a launch title, if I'm not mistaken. Oni was a launch. And so was Orphan. Orphan was a PS2 launch title. I remember because I worked at Walmart. I was assistant manager over in electronics at the Walmart I was at. And I remember the night we put the PS2s out for the midnight release. And there were 6 or 8 games that launched. And I think Oni and Orphan were in there. I believe those were in there. Eternal Ring. Eternal Ring was the other launch title. It was Eternal Ring, Orphan, Oni. I want to say it was a sports game. Yeah. Oh yeah, back in 2000 or 2001, whenever PS2 launched, I want to say it was 2001. Orphan was a launch title. Yeah, Orphan's an old anime, dude. Like they did Sorceress Stabber Orphan on, I think it's on Hulu or something like that. But Orphan's been around for a long time, dude. That's a classic anime. I've always tried to hunt down the classic Orphan anime, and I can't find it anywhere. Anywhere. I have tried to find it. Hang on a second. Let's look. Here we go. Here we go. God 2. Okay. That's someone else's channel. Shade! That's who it was. Shade made a lot of games on PS2, man. Korakawa Shoten. Yeah, this is the Orphan game on PS2. October 2000. Yep. Okay, it was 2000. Orphan, Scion of Sorcery. I think I've got this game. I do have this game. I've got this game. Setting your options. Hang on, what am I doing? Let's give Orphan the big screen here. Got your anime cutscenes. I remember this. This was the draw of the game for me. Having the anime cutscenes in there. Dude, the fucking golden age of anime, baby. Oh, it makes my heart sing. It makes my heart sing. The golden age of hand-drawn anime. This is what I'm talking about. Let's get into the some of the gameplay a little bit here. Let's see. Treasure chest. A lot of Orphan also remind you all know I love the Grand Stream Saga on PS1. A lot of Orphan exploration reminded me a lot of the Grand Stream Saga. Oh yeah, the guy is jumped. Here we go. About to get it. Look at that movement animation. That movement, that slick movement animation. Let's do it. Blast him. So yeah, this was Orphan Scion of Sorcery. Blam. Not a bad game for back in the day. Kind of unplayable now, but not bad for back in the day. Not bad for back in the day. A good one back in the day. I put a lot of hours on Orphan, man. Nightmare Creature. Oh my god, dude. Dude, y'all are speaking to my heart tonight. Thousand Arms? Hold on. Does your boy remember Thousand Arms? Boom! Boom! Does your boy remember Thousand Arms? Still got the amazing booklet with all the little inserts in it. Little warranty card. Atlas. Atlas, this was one of my first Atlas games. Golden Age, baby. You know your boy's holding it down with Thousand Arms for early level dating, anime dating sim. But yeah, man, dude, speaking to my heart right now. Nightmare Creatures, bro. Like, what's funny is I wrote a horror novel. In 2019, I released it. It's called Derelict, The Harbingers of Chromius. And I actually messaged Friedrich Mott, the composer for the Nightmare Creatures music. And I got a hold of him in 2019. I said, hey, can I use your music to promote my horror novel? We might do some audiobook stuff with it and everything. And he was like, yes, I would love that. Just send me a copy of the book. And I was like, I can bet, dude. So yeah, so we made that happen. And I'll never forget, dude, when Nightmare Creatures came out, me and my buddy Diesel and Brian, with the three of us, we would stay up playing Nightmare Creatures when that game came out. We were blown away by the soundtrack. We were like, is that Korn? Is that Korn doing the metal boss battles and stuff? You know? But like, when you first get into London. Like when you first start the game and you're walking around and you hear the sound effects and stuff, and then it gets quiet and you hear boom, 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 boom. Dude, here, if y'all never, we're doing this tonight. We're just doing this tonight. That's what this night's gonna be. We're having a fun hang. That's what we're doing tonight. Let me look at this. If you've never played Nightmare Creatures, you're in for a treat. Let us see. All right. Let us see. Hang on, let me silence my music for a moment. Maximize. Maximize. All right. You're getting ready to find out. Y'all getting ready to find out. Y'all about to find out about Nightmare. Oh my god. This is going to make me want to boot up the emulator. Oh my god. This is going to make me want to boot up the emulator. What? Oh my god. Easy. What are you doing? Put that. There you go. Can you all hear the volume? Here, hang on a second. I'm going to turn the volume up so you can hear it. Because this soundtrack had such an atmosphere. Resident Evil 2 levels of atmosphere in the soundtrack. Shadow Man is great. That was a PS1 game, right? I remember the commercials for it. Here we go. I don't know if you can hear the music. The boom. Oh man. Dude. Nightmare Creatures has such atmosphere. God. I love the music of this game. I could listen to the music for this game on repeat. I have. When I was writing Derelict, I had this soundtrack on repeat while I was writing it. I love the music. Hang on a second. I'm gonna try to just find the music. Hope I don't get a strike, but if I do, I do. Screw it. Or a copyright thing. If I do, I do. Screw it. Let's see. Nightmare Creatures OST. Did I find it? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. For me, this is one of the GOAT soundtracks. Like, we would be out camping after this game came out, and we would just lean over to each other and go, boom, boom, boom. We would just start doing that, and then it would just freeze the person. They'd be like, stop. Stop it. I'm not messing. I'm not bullshitting you. Stop right now. Like, it would freak them out, you know? God. Just a little... Just hit that little open D. Boom. So good. God, Halloween is here, baby. I have to do a Nightmare Creatures run. I have to do a Nightmare Creatures run on my birthday, which is Halloween. If you all didn't know, my birthday is Halloween. If you all did not know that. I was born on Halloween night. goated soundtrack. God tier soundtrack. That might be an exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Fix this audio before I blow your headphones off here and go back to my regularly scheduled music programming. But yeah, like Nightmare Creatures, goated. We need to do a retro stream. Yes, I have Alundra. I have Alundra 1 and 2. Got the books and everything with it. Got the nice case for Alundra. Dude, look, let me tell you something about the Nightmare Creatures soundtrack. The boss battles. Let me find the one. Here, hang on a second. I know. I get on a thing and I can't stop. Anyway, here we go. Let me find it. Where is it? Is this one big thing here? This might be just one big thing. Let me see. Spitalfield, I remember this one. There's a Highgate Cemetery. I think this is it. Yes, this is it. Oh my God, get ready. Get ready. This is the final boss battle music. Get ready. Oh my God. This track, when I first heard it, I lost my damn mind. I was like, this is video game music? A little organ and choir in there. Dude, I gotta play this game. My God. I forgot how hard this track goes. I forgot how hard this track goes. Oh my God. Here it comes. Alright. I gotta cut it off. I'm gonna start playing Nightmare Creatures. I'm gonna start a Nightmare Creatures channel. Oh my God. I had to stop. I had to stop, man. I was just gonna keep going. Oh my God. Nightmare Creatures channel confirmed. It's gonna happen. That's gonna be my next thing after Final Fantasy VII Remake Saga's over. Oh my God. That was a moment right there. Oh my God. That was so good. Look, PS1 still has some hidden gems people are unearthing to this day. Like, PS1 is in many ways still the GOAT. Like, people love PlayStation 2, and I get it. You know, PlayStation 2 is amazing, and there's a lot you can do because you can play PS1 games on your PS2. But, like, PS1 it's like that Vince McMahon meme where it's like, Daddy, tell me about the PS1. We turn the camera off, please. Yeah, Alundra 2 was not great, but Alundra 1 had some amazing anime cutscenes. And so there was another Arc the Lad, I think it was, I can't remember which one. Well, that's the thing, Chris, is that, you know, Activision had a ton of games on PS1. Activision could spend the next 15 years just remastering and re-releasing their games, like Nightmare Creatures. I didn't like Nightmare Creatures 2 as much. It was a little too stylized for my liking. And plus, I think Rob Zombie did the soundtrack for the second game. Didn't have the same flavor. It didn't have the same flavor as the first game. Nightmare Creatures 1, then Nightmare Creatures 2. Nightmare Creatures 1 was a surprise hit. Activision didn't know they had a big hit on their hands. And that game sold very well. And they did Nightmare Creatures 2 and it just wasn't as good. Kind of like Twisted Metal 2 to Twisted Metal 3. Like, people forget like how big Twisted Metal was. Twisted Metal, killer soundtrack, great game, great concept. And dude, PS1, PS2, Twisted Metal was awesome. People were having Twisted Metal parties. People forget. But that's the thing with video games and the video game world, you know, it's like here today, gone tomorrow. You know, I really wish, I'm sure there is one, I just don't know about it. Like a preservation society for this stuff, where people, that's what I think that's what I would love to do, is just revisit some of those old games and just like talk about why they're great. You know, it's like focus on one, do like a 20 to 30 minute video, like this is why this game is great. You know, this is, what do you all think? Would you all like to see me do some stuff like that? Like break out some old games and just talk about them, why they're great. This is why it's on my list. This is why I love this game. I might do that. Need that Xenogears playthrough with the soundtrack. Night of Fire, dude. Night of Fire was on my workout list for a long time. That was on my workout list for a long time, dude. The Xenogears soundtrack, it's one of Mitsuda's masterworks. Chrono Cross, I think, is his masterwork. But I would say Xenogears is right behind it, and Chrono Trigger is probably number 2, or number 3, I mean. Mitsuda soundtracks, I would say Chrono Cross, Xenogears, Chrono Trigger. That would be what I would say. Xenogears is so fantastic. And Xenosaga on PS2 was amazing. I loved Xenosaga. This is sequel theories. Man, I get a lot of hate when people are like, well, how can people will flood my comment sections on Final Fantasy VII R videos. It's like, how can it not be a sequel? There's no way it can't be a sequel or multiverse. And I'm like, y'all just need to stop drinking the Kool-Aid for real. Growlancer, Brigadine, Beyond, dude. Yes. Secundus, yes. All that, and then some that you just mentioned. I'll throw Vagrant Story in there. I'll throw, of course, one of the games that really influenced Aurora, the Grand Stream Saga, that we're listening to the soundtrack for it right now. I'd throw that one in there. Really slept on. Graphically, not something you want to play now, but if you love that era of anime, like Production IG did the anime cutscenes for Grand Stream Saga, which, if you know anything about Production IG, they did Ghost in the Shell and all that kind of stuff, but they, a fantastic game. It was a big project when it came out. The only thing wrong with the Grand Stream Saga was it came out after Final Fantasy VII. Had that game come out before Final Fantasy VII, it would have been a much more fondly remembered video game. But I love that game. That game, like, that was one of those, everybody's got those games, I think. If you went through a dark time in your life, everybody has those games that was there for them. Final Fantasy was one of those for me. But the other one was the Grand Stream Saga. That was there for me in a really bad time. I could escape into that world and play that game and be with those characters. That was so important for me. And everybody's, whoever I'm looking at right now, on your phone or at work, or hopefully not driving in your car, but if you are, I'm looking at you right now. Everybody probably has those moments, and they have that story, that movie, that game, that album, whatever that got them through. Grand Stream Saga was that for me, and so was Final Fantasy VII. Absolutely. Do I think they'll remake Vagrant Story? No, I wish they would, but if I had to say, if I had to give you a yes or no, I would say no. I would say they will not remake Vagrant Story. I think they'll do I think they would do a remaster and tweak the gameplay, because the gameplay was very reminiscent of Parasite Eve, like as far as the battle system, from what I remember. I actually enjoyed Vagrant Story more than Legend of Dragoon, and people just think that's total, heresy. But I did. I liked Vagrant Story better than Legend of Dragoon. Of course, I was on a real Square Enix kick at the time, too. And those games came out eerily close to each other from what I remember. A lot of you all probably know the dates better than I do, but I remember experiencing those games around the same time, I'll put it that way. Legend of Legaia, great one. I've got that one on my shelf, too. Great game. So many great RPGs. I mean, I really could. I mean, I could really just break out Thousand Arms right now and just play it. I've got Symphony of the Night up here. I've got so many great games up here. What's wild is I go to these, I'll either pay to go to a comic book show and exhibit, or in the last couple of years I get a lot of like guest appearance offers. And so I'll show up to a Comic-Con, and the first thing I do once I get my booth set up and my assistant's helping me out, but I'm going to go peruse the shopping scene. And when I say the shopping scene, they know I'm going to go look for like retro game booths. And it's funny because now, I mean, I've only got like 5,500 subscribers, but there's a lot of people that know me. So I'll go to a retro game booth, and I'll be like, hey, just looking at your stuff. They'll be like, oh my God, hey, I love your YouTube channel. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, I'm thinking, I've only got 5,500 subscribers, so chances are you're watching it and you're not subscribed. But I don't say that. But it's wild when I go to these booths, these retro gaming booths, and people know who I am. And that does not carry a discount with it, I'll just let you know. That does not carry a discount with it. It's but it's cool they know me, and then I'll sit there and small talk with them about games. And then sometimes you can tell if I'm talking to the person that's helping out the person for the weekend, or if I'm talking to the person whose booth it is. So you can tell pretty quick, because I'll be like talking about this or talking about that, and then they like, oh, well, I don't know about that one. I'm like, womp womp, boop boopy doop, bow. What up, Rain? How's it going? Dude, like Bobby, we've talked about this before, like from 1998 to 2001, if you were a Square Enix fan, you were broke. And not because you didn't have a job and you're just sitting around buying plushies, body pillows. You were broke because they were putting out banger games. Every 3 months, there was something coming out that you just had to have. There was a new $50 drop every couple of months. Gotta get that. Gotta get that. Gotta get that. Gotta get that. You're dropping $50 every couple of months on Square Enix games, not to mention the other games you're getting, But Square Enix, if Square Enix put a game out, it was a must-buy. From 98 to 2001, if Square Enix put a game out, it was a must-buy video game. You had to buy it. Don't read a review. You don't have to look at anything. You just buy it. You go home, yep, that was great. Didn't even have to look at a review. It was just fantastic. Ray, would you ever do a Lords of Shadow 1 or 2 playthrough? Absolutely, Last Soldier. I would love to do a Lords of Shadow 1 playthrough. Absolutely. I'm thinking of Square Enix is going to remake Dirge of Cerberus. That's the only one left out right now. I don't think they're going to remake it, Saguna. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I think it could be a DLC, like a massive DLC. Like, we were just talking about Lords of Shadow. Didn't Lords of Shadow 1? It did. It had like a massive DLC, didn't it? Where you were playing as Gabriel. Like, well, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but it was the little girl vampire. You were helping her. It was a massive story. And that was on PS3. You could totally do that now and make it even bigger. But like, yeah, make like Dirge of Cerberus or even Advent Children, or do them both and do them like a really souped up version of like your intermission DLC. Do something like that. Charge $20 for it, each one of them. You know, I'd give them 20, even 20, like $29.99 for a full Dirge of Cerberus DLC. I'd give them $29.99 for a full Advent Children DLC, and just rewrite that. Like, just rewrite that one. Advent Children needs a complete rewrite. Not like rebuild it or reimagine it. Just, you can keep the same story, but just rewrite that horrible dialogue. That is like, I cannot believe Advent Children came from the same company that gave us Final Fantasy Tactics. I cannot believe it. Because that movie is like got some of the worst dialogue. I watched that with friends of mine who didn't know what they knew what Final Fantasy VII was. They weren't like fans. They watched that with me. I was embarrassed to be sitting there watching it with them. I was like, oh my god. The writing was... The writing, there was points when I'm first watching that movie and I go, oh, I can remember cringing before cringe was a thing. I can remember just naturally cringing. I can see them doing an enhanced version of Dirge of Cerberus and call it Dirge of Cerberus Revamp. That would be awesome. Revamp. Well, that's what I would call the Castlevania remake. Revamped. You know? Mirror of Fate. No, Mirror of Fate was the side-scrolling Metroidvania they did that took place between Lords of Shadow 1 and 2. I'm talking about the actual DLC for Lords of Shadow 1, where I forget the name of the little girl. It's a little girl vampire helping out. And I think it's when Gabriel's first, like, coming to terms with he's becoming something. Spirits Within's writing was actually better. It wasn't a good movie, but the writing, the dialogue was actually better than Advent Children, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on Ocarina of Time getting a remake in the coming couple of years, possibly if it happens? Yeah, I think that'd be good, Rain. If they want to put the time into it. Now, I don't want it to look like Breath of the Wild. I don't particularly like Breath of the Wild's art style. I think it looks like jelly skins on everybody. Like, it's just I don't know. It's too, I don't know. I loved, even though I wasn't crazy about the game, I loved the look of Twilight Princess. I loved the way that game looked. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. And I know I'm in the minority on this one, but I feel like Zelda has gotten gimmicky. Like, Nintendo is like, Zelda's our most popular thing. Let's put all the gimmicks we want to try in a game into a Zelda game because we know it's going to sell. I don't think Zelda needs to be gimmicky. I wish they would just get back to making it like an adventure game. Now, I know you can turn the weird puzzle stuff off in Breath of the Wild and the latest one, but I'm a classic Zelda fan. Ocarina of Time was the last one that I was bonkers for, and that was like, God, that was almost 30 years ago. That was almost 30 years ago. I liked Majora's Mask. I take it back. I actually really liked Wind Waker. I didn't like Wind Waker when they announced it, but when I played it, I loved it. I loved Wind Waker. I thought it was really fun. But forgettable. Like, it was fun when I played it, but it didn't stick with me. Didn't stick to good. I can go to bed now. I got nutrients. I got nutrition. I'm ready. I'm powered up and ready to go for the next part of my day tomorrow. I didn't feel like that after I played Wind Waker. I felt like I just had some cotton candy. I felt like I had some cake and ice cream. It's like going to watching a Marvel movie. It's like I don't really feel like I watched... You know what I mean? Like, Marvel movies are good. They're fun. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's a lot of cake and ice cream. Not a whole lot of meat and potatoes. So... But remaking Ocarina of Time, yes, absolutely, go for it. I would love to see what they do, but just don't make it Breath of the Wild. Just don't do that. Dilly dally shilly shally, that's God, it's so bad. And they said it twice. They were so proud of that line. They said it twice. Oh my God. They should remake Castlevania, the PS1 game. Symphony of the Night. No, I wouldn't remake Symphony of the Night. Which Castlevania would you remake opposite of Legend? I think I spoke about this in a video or a live stream recently. Because I was talking about how Konami's doing these remakes, and the rumor is they're getting ready to hit us with a Castlevania. I would take Castlevania 1 and Castlevania 2 and Fabregas with another $10, showing the love tonight. I'll get to that question in just a second. Thank you for the 10. Thank you so much. You're keeping the boat floating tonight, my friend. I would take Castlevania 1. I'd make it less of an arcade game. Because Castlevania 1 is like you get points and everything. It's an arcade game. I'd make it less of an arcade game. I'd make it a true Metroidvania. Kind of like Castlevania, Super Castlevania 4. It's basically just a reimagining of Castlevania 1. I would take Castlevania 1 and I would make it more of a Metroidvania. You defeat Dracula, you kill him, but then in classic Metroidvania style now, Chronicles of the Wolf did this. You get through the town and you think, oh, I beat the wolf. And no, now you got a whole castle to go and do. So what I would do is I'd take Castlevania 1, Castlevania 2, and after you beat Dracula at the Castlevania 1 portion of the Metroidvania, and it's like 1 year later. And then Simon wakes up in bed, coughing up blood or whatever, you know. Then Simon's quest begins, and you play a Metroidvania open world version of Simon's Quest. Give me that as the remake all day long. All day long. That's what I would do. That's what I would hope to see them do. Hey Ray, it's Rick G. I know that's you, Last Soldier. I know that's you, Rick. I don't know why it's showing my other screen name. I thought that was weird too. Yeah, but nah, I know that's you, man. Reverie, yes, thank you. Laura was the little girl. Thank you, Rick. Yes, that's what I was trying to remember. Castlevania Lords of Shadow Reverie. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah. The world of Ivalice is like Square Enix's most rich world they've ever created. That's also where Final Fantasy XII takes place. You know, in Final Fantasy XII, you can go to the library, and I forgot what the central city is called, the capital city's there. But you can go to the library and read about the War of the Lions. Like, it's in the library there. You can read about it. It's canon of that world. I always thought that was super cool about that game. Another reason why I love 12 so much is because it takes place in Ivalice. Threads of Fate. Treats of Fate. That took me a second. Threads of Fate. Threads of Fate is excellent. And so is Legend of Mana. Romancing Site. Yeah. Banger after banger, man. Wasn't FF7 originally supposed to be on Nintendo 64? FF7? Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely It's absolute. It was absolutely supposed to. There was a cartridge made for it. There is an N64 cartridge, Final Fantasy VII, that was made as a prototype. Still, the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are overrated Zelda games. They are. I mean, they are. They were like, oh, people love Elder Scrolls and The Witcher. Well, let's rethink what we were going to do with Breath of the Wild. That's all it was. They saw how big open world games was. Like, let's do a Zelda open world game. Breath of the Wild borrowed a lot from Skyrim and Oblivion. It borrowed a lot from those games. Yep, they are going to make another Castlevania at some point, and let's just hope they don't mess it up. I agree. MGS1 absolutely getting a remake from what I've heard. And apparently that's the next one they're planning. Where do you think FF7 R3 begins? To answer you, Fabregas. Thank you for the $10 again. I appreciate you. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. I think it's going to begin with them landing at the base of the climb up to shit. I'm getting my areas confused. The landing the plane, because the reason I get confused is because they didn't take a plane. They didn't take the plane, fly it up to the northern crater after Aerith died. They just kind of hiked up there. So that's something I haven't seen a lot of people talking about too, is like the path forward now is going to be a little bit different. So FF7R3 will begin, I do believe, with them landing on a beach and preparing to hike up to the northern crater. That's what I think. Metal Gear 2. Well, dude, that would be sick. Like Metal Gear and Snake's Revenge on NES, that would be sick. I'd totally be down for that. I just don't think that's where their heart is on it. Dude, I would like when I was a kid, I put so much time. I thought it was probably 10 or 11. I put so many hours on Metal Gear 1. Punching the dog. Smoking the cigarettes. Back when you do it at the kids' game, you know, just smoke these cigarettes. Meet Gray Fox before he's a cyborg. All that kind of good stuff. Final Fantasy 12 was before Final Fantasy Tactics. I could have swore there's a book in the library where you read about the War of the Lions. Is that not accurate? I'll have to go back and look into that. I thought for sure that 12 was after Tactics. I guess not. FF7 Part 3 is snowboarding at the beginning. I'm out. I'm right there with you. Also, speaking of like library tie-ins and games, who remembers that PlayStation 2 Van Helsing game? The movie tie-in game for Van Helsing. Which was absolutely, that movie was originally supposed to be a Castlevania movie, but we've talked about that before. Like, if you go into the library in one of the villages, oh, I see. No, yeah, I think Final Fantasy 12 takes place after I think Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions is in the history of the world of Final Fantasy 12. I think. Somebody can check me on that. I'm not sure. I was sure. Now I'm not sure. Anyway. Really? Huh. Why am I misremembering that then? I could have swore in the library you could read about the War of the Lions. Huh. I must be out of my mind. Well, okay. Well, thank you all for correcting me on that. I thought I was right on that one. But what I was going to say is if you go in the Van Helsing game, one of the main village you go into that you're trying to protect, if you go into the library, that village, there is a book in the library. If you just press X against all the bookshelves and stuff, there is a book talking about the Belmont family. It is in there. It is in there. Yeah, it got the twin snakes. Yeah, MGS1, they turned it into the twin snakes on GameCube. "12 came before the cow." Okay, all right. Huh. Yeah, I must be misremembering that. Why would I remember it that way then? I must be getting my brain must be rotting. I don't know. Oof. But either way you slice it, anything they do in Ivalice is good. Like, I love that world. I love the look of that world. For me, Ivalice is what Final Fantasy should look like. It's got that mix of sci-fi and like Ivalice has like a perfect mix of classic fantasy and sci-fi elements, especially Final Fantasy 12. Like, I just love the way that world and those characters look and feel, how they play with each other, like, and the politics and everything of that, like, Final Fantasy Tactics is absolutely present in Final Fantasy 12. That's one of the things I love about it, because the writing of 12 really reminded me of the writing of Tactics, and how the political intrigue plays a role in everything, in the different cultures. It's like a masterfully built world. And I feel like, and I don't know this for certain, I feel like Square Enix probably has a couple of worlds that they play with back and forth, and I think they have set rules, and they honor those rules. Like, I think each of these worlds and stories have like a hard line set of rules, and they are very adamant about keeping those things in check. Like Ivalice, I think it's grounded in political intrigue, cultural divides, all that kind of stuff. And I think whenever they're telling a story about Ivalice or whatever, I think that they're like, okay, it needs to be this, this, and this. You can play with other elements, but these things have to remain as is. That was kind of my point too with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Why I pushed back so hard on multiple timelines and time travel and all that kind of stuff is because I was like, I think at their heart, even though they make bad business decisions and stuff like that all the time, at the heart, Square Enix are still a group of really, really good storytellers. And at the heart of telling a great story, especially for something that's already established, you have to hold true to your rules that you've built for those worlds. And that's why, that was the paramount reason that I really pushed back on all the time travel nonsense and everything. Time travel was just kind of a very simple way for people to wrap their minds around what was going on with the metaphysical elements being presented in Remake. And really, it's kind of like a tale of the afterlife mingling, or the live stream, and the afterlife, same thing, mingling with the events of the world. Just a way to make the live stream a more omnipresent, potent, powerful aspect of the story, whereas before, the old one, it was just there. It was kind of a special, holy kind of thing, but didn't really have the presence that it does now in Remake. But anyway, that's a conversation for another time. I'm gonna take a quick break, everybody. I'll give me another drink, and I'll be right back with some more conversation with you all. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Looks like most of you have. Really appreciate you all, and I'll be right back. So I saw this question right before I went to break. I wanted to come on. It said, what gets remade first? Chrono Trigger or Mega Man Legends? Mega Man Legends. Because there's no chance they're ever going to remake Chrono Trigger. I guess I've just like abandoned all hope for a Chrono Trigger remake. I just don't think it's going to happen. I would love for it to happen, but know how it is. Know how it is with that company. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say, man. It's one step forward and two steps back with Square Enix. I don't pretend to know their business. I just know it doesn't make sense a lot of times. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of wild. I mean, they would make so much money with a Chrono Trigger remake. That's like the new button. That's the new emergency button they could press, right? That's the new emergency button. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, it would fit right in with their business, you know? I mean, you can make lots of plushies and body pillows out of Chrono Trigger characters, you know? So the GameCube remake is better than the original Metal Gear. Fascinating. Superior in a lot of ways. But I guess it's just my fondness, my remembrance of the first time playing through Metal Gear Solid 1. But I don't know. It would be interesting. Threads of Time. You mean the Adventures of Elliot game? Oh wait, no, yeah, it's that Threads of Time. Yeah, you're right. That other game coming out. A new good Godzilla game. That would be really cool. Unfortunately, I just don't know, like, what would you do for a Godzilla game? Right? Like, because I think it would be kind of hard, like, well, we could think of a good Godzilla game, right? You just run around battling the different kaiju or whatever. But you know a company would fuck it up. They would just, like, you're assisting Godzilla. You know, like you're military on the ground assisting Godzilla or some dumb shit like that. Yeah, the game that's clearly an homage to Chrono Trigger. No, I know which one you're talking about now. That they showed during TGS, if I'm not mistaken. Just a couple of weeks ago we found out about that game, right? And then Parasite Mutant was dropped like the next day. Hulk Ultimate Destruction was fun as hell. That game was so fun. But yeah, there are so many games. Like Mega Man Legends would be a killer remake. I know Capcom's got their hands full with all their IPs they have swirling right now, but Mega Man Legends or something with Mega Man would be great. Like, I would love to see them, like, if you're gonna, like, you could remake. Can you imagine them remaking like Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 2 and even Mega Man 3 as Metroidvanias, kind of like the X series went? That would be dope, man. That would be so dope. Like, not make it Mega Man X, but it's still Mega Man, you know? You don't get the X armor and all that kind of stuff, but, you know, making it like, you know, you got to go to different places to get different things and come back to levels later and get different stuff. I mean, that would be wild. Yeah, I know a lot of people complain about remakes, but the point with the remakes and remasters is it's conserving like those old games that are getting forgotten that are great games. And it's an easy way for the company to go to the web, but hey, we've got this old IP we haven't done anything with. I look at like a remake of an old game as kind of like almost a new game, right? Because you're introducing an IP to people who would have never otherwise played it. So it's new to them. You know, if you've never played a game that's getting remade, it's a new game to you. And I think that's the business point that a lot of these companies make when they're pitching what game to remake. Now, Last of Us 1 remake, that was a waste of time. That was not necessary. You can still play that game, you know? But I'm talking like NES game. Like if that Shadowgate got remade 10 years ago on Steam. And that game was awesome. Awesome. Like that was basically a new game, you know? Had the great music, still had the great death scene, the You're Dead screen with the Grim Reaper. The it is so good. So remakes like that, I'm all for. Do them, you know. But if you've got the teams, like these big companies have the teams, like a 30-person company doesn't need to be working on remakes and remasters. But if you've got thousands of people working for you, then do it, you know. Oh yeah, you're fine, Zach. Like there's no right or wrong answer to this thing. I'm just providing like an alternate view on it. No, I'm not trying to win you over. And I get what you're saying. You know, you want them to focus on making new stuff. The problem is they're trying to figure out how to make new things that don't suck. That's where things are at right now. Like, I'm not one of these people who think everything that's new sucks. I don't feel that way. There's lots of new stuff that's great, you know. But like these arena shooters that have died a death. And remember when everybody was trying to jump on board with what was it, like Fortnite, like games and stuff like that. Everybody's trying to jump on board with their version of that, and it failed miserably. Like they have to kind of go where the money is, but they also want to make good games. So I think finding that balance is where they go to remakes and remasters, and that's why a lot of these companies poll their gamers. What would you like to see of our old titles to see us remake next? I understand where that's coming from, but I'm also with you. Like I've got one toe in each pool, basically. You know, like they need to be making new games. They need to be making new IPs. Everybody does. But I'm also like, if you want to every now and then, like remake or remaster an old game, I'm totally fine with that. Thinks there's evidence for a Dino Crisis. That sounds like a reach. Like, I don't know who this YouTuber is, but that sounds like a reach. You know, what people don't realize is, like, when Dino Crisis was coming out, like, you'd see a few commercials for it here and there, but people weren't, like, clamoring to play Dino Crisis. I was there when it was coming out, Dino Crisis 1 and 2. I picked up the first one. I didn't bother picking up the second one. And I wasn't into it. I played the first Dino Crisis and I wasn't into it. You know, like, if it... How do I put this? Like, I know a lot of people that bought it. And a ton of the people I know that bought it, it just kind of sat on their shelf until they traded it back to EB Games. Funco Land at the time. Wasn't GameStop yet. Like, they played it for like a week or two, and then they just took it and traded it in towards something else. Like, it sold a lot because people were like still riding that Resident Evil 2 vibe. Resident Evil 2 and some other games they had coming out at the time, they were riding that wave. The Dino Crisis kind of rode that wave when it came out, and it wasn't well received when it came out. Like, critics gave it good scores and stuff like that, but everybody I know, including myself, took that copy of Dino Crisis and just traded it in towards something else because I bought it, we bought it, and didn't really enjoy it that much. I didn't bother picking up 2. So I think in recent years, there is a kind of like a cult groundswell love for Dino Crisis in a way. I think people remember it more fondly than it was. I'm not saying that's everybody, but I'm sure that's a lot of people, you know, trying to give Capcom an idea of what the next game they want to see a remake for is or whatever. Dino Crisis, to me, was just okay. And I think that's how Capcom views it too. It was just okay. Like, do we want to spend millions of dollars remaking this game for an experience that we're not really sure if people really want it or if they think they want it? You know, I think they have to weigh all these things when they're thinking about a game to remake. So I don't... If they came out and said we're remaking Dino Crisis, I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. They've got so much on their plate right now. With new IP, with remakes, and we know that Resident Evil Code Veronica and Resident Evil 0 are coming. Resident Evil 9 is getting ready to go gold. And Resident Evil 1 is probably not more than 4 or 5 years away from a remake. So, and then they're going to have Resident Evil 10 in there, or whatever they're going to call it, whatever the future of the series is going to be. Not to mention the Devil May Cry 1 remake that's probably coming. Okay, I guess I'm right with the Project Wesker guy with his evidence of a Dino Crisis remake, but I feel like there's more evidence that there's going to be a Devil May Cry 1 remake. And honestly, more of a need, because if you say, what do you want remade? Devil May Cry 1 or Dino Crisis? 9 people out of 10, realistically, are going to say Devil May Cry 1. So, and that's not to mention your Mega Man stuff that people want more than Dino Crisis. Other Power Stone. You know, I'd rather have another Power Stone. I think Power Stone was Capcom, right? I'd rather have another Power Stone game than Dino Crisis. Not saying Dino Crisis is wrong or bad or anything like that. I don't think it's the priority that it is for the small niche of fans that want Dino Crisis. I just feel like that's where they're at on it. Yeah, well, that's what I've been hearing about the Resident Evil 0 remake, is that they're completely like remaking it. Like, it's not going to have the buddy system. It wasn't a zapping system, but it was more of like a partner system where you got to leave the thing for the person, they come back by and get it. They're completely going to rebuild that game. It's going to be a completely different gameplay experience. The stuff with Zelda being, you know, since Ocarina of Time and going the direction it's gone, been fine. Like, I actually enjoyed Skyward Sword. Like, a lot of people hated that game. Like, I can get why. I understand why, but I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Skyward Sword. I liked Skyward Sword more than I like Breath of the Wild, to be honest. Because Breath of the Wild, to me, feels like Oblivion for middle schoolers. I'm just keeping it a buck with you. I mean, it feels like if I were to make a Sesame Street version of Oblivion, it would be, or a Sesame Street version of The Witcher, it would be Breath of the Wild. That's how it feels to me. And I played through Breath of the Wild. I gave it a chance. And then Tears of the Kingdom I bought. I was like, nah, man, I can't. I was maybe 7 or 8 hours. Nah, I played it for a weekend. I played Tears of the Kingdom for the weekend. I took it to a local collectible shop and sold it for store credit. I was like, I can't do this anymore. That's literally where I was with Tears of the Kingdom. And I know I'm in the minority on that, but I will take A Link to the Past any day of the week over these new Zelda games. Any day of the week, any option you present me, any situation, any scenario. I will take A Link to the Past over any of these new Zeldas any day of the week. Period. Done. Link to the Past is a masterpiece. These newer games are just part of a trend, you know? Chaos Legion, oh my god, what a great... That's PS2, right? What a great PS2 game. You're right, Rain. You're right about that. Yeah, there you go, Zach. See? There you go. That when I think of a remake, that's what I think of in a remake. Like you're remaking the game. Like Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's a remake of Final Fantasy VII. Like they're going hard now on the language, saying it's a rebuild. Look at it more of as a rebuild. I've seen a couple different quotes now where someone from Square Enix called it a rebuild of Final Fantasy VII. That's it. And that's kind of what I was trying to explain in the whole lead up to Rebirth. I was like, I think it's just a sequel. Or not a sequel. Shit. Forget I said that. I think it's just a remake. I think they're just remaking the game with notes and stuff they've had all over the years. Oh, I wish we could have done this idea. Oh, I wish we could have put this in there. Oh, I wish we could have done this, you know? And I think that's all it is. The whole thing with Zack is his journey through the afterlife. You know, in Advent Children, they presented him as the wolf kind of watching over Cloud, you know, like a protective spirit watching over Cloud. And I feel like that's exactly what they did with him in Rebirth. Like, it's almost on the nose. And then they explained at the end of it that these little pocket dimensions are souls that needed to be free of their burden before they enter the life stream. They're not different timelines, you know. It's people that need to be unburdened and enter the life stream, but Sephiroth was corrupting that and destroying that and trying to absorb that too, because it is an offshoot of the life stream. You get real confusing and real meta with that stuff, but Final Fantasy VII is a perfect example of just remaking a game, you know, for better or worse, or for good or ill, depending on who you talk to, but of course. But that's just, that's the way these things work. Oh yeah, they have to renew those trademarks. Okay, he saw Capcom renewed the Dino Crisis trademark, and he concluded from there, if I'm not mistaken, but that doesn't mean anything. Oh yeah, like companies renew trademarks all the time. Like, what was it a few years ago? What was the big trademark controversy a few years ago? God. Oh, it was when Square Enix renewed the trademark for... No, it wasn't. Ah, crap. I can't remember. There was a big trademark controversy a few years ago, and I can't remember what game it was about. But, oh, did you see this trademark got renewed? It got renewed, and it wound up being nothing. It wound up being nothing. So, clip it. No. The one thing you all would clip is the one where I misspoke. Okay, that would track. That would track. I could still play, like, I'll still play A Link to the Past. Like, I'll pull my emulator up if I'm bored, if I need 15 minutes to just kind of detox after making some content. I will pull up my emulator and just play Link to the Past. Or play Chrono Trigger or something like that I can just turn my brain off and just grind for a few minutes. Symbiogenesis. That's what it was. Thank you, Jordan. That was going to bug the shit out of me. For Parasite Eve. That's what it was. It was for an NFT thing. That's what it was. Think of the Metroid Prime 4 trailer. I think it's Metroid Prime-y. I was moved neither way about it. I'm not a Metroid Prime fan. I loved Metroid Dread. Good God, Metroid Dread was amazing. But Metroid Prime, it gives me problems physically because I have vertigo. And I played the first two and got very, very motion sick and just stopped caring about anything after that with Metroid Prime. Some of the traversal in the Metroid games and stuff, it makes me motion sick and queasy. Actually, I first discovered I had vertigo playing Metroid Prime on the GameCube. That was where I first discovered that I had, like, vertigo issues. getting seasick playing a game or whatever. And then after that, it was just like a roller coaster. Like, I played so many games after that where I was just like, whoa. Weird games will make me motion sick too. Like, if I played for more than just a couple of hours. Like, I remember Dark Cloud on PS2, the first Dark Cloud. Like, the way you could move the camera around when you're rebuilding and stuff. Like, that would get me crazy motion sick. And I wouldn't know it till like a few minutes after I stopped playing the game, and I had the worst headache. I'd be like, God, I felt lethargic. I felt like I needed to take a nap. It does weird things to you. It's not just getting dizzy, but you think they will do a sequel to Dread? Dude, I feel like, I don't know if I would say 100% yes they will, but should they? Absolutely. People loved that game. It was kind of a return to glory for like the Metroidvania days of Metroid. You know, you've got a whole genre named after you. Yes, I would love to see that. I'll tell you a great Metroidvania that came out a few years ago, and I played the hell out of it. I actually loaded it up here recently on a little break and played it. Was Record of Lodoss War, Deedlit, and Wonder Labyrinth. That was a fantastic Metroidvania. Really a callback to Symphony of the Night, but with what is it? Metroidvania. It was Record of Lodoss War with like Metroidvania, or Symphony of the Night with a Record of Lodoss War skin to it. And the overarching theme of that game was incredible. I loved that game. I still do. Like, I'm still slowly trying to 100% the game. I'm trying to get Deedlit to level 99. It's a grind. It's a grind. But every now and then I'll play for 15 minutes and just grind out experience with her, and then turn it off for like a couple of weeks to come back to it and grind experience. And then eventually I will platinum that game. Eventually. I don't platinum games often, but I love that game a lot. And it's a pretty easy platinum from what I see. Yo, what up, Talon? How it go? How it do? But I'll tell you what, man, like, there are a lot of different RPGs and RPG lights out there, and companies are kind of experimenting with them now, and it's really wild because, like, there are so many IPs out there you could bring back and do an RPG of. Think about all the classic anime that need like a good video game. Like, I would say there are a lot of golden age anime that really could use a great video. Like, you think about games like, not Naruto and Dragon Ball stuff. We got games of those for days. But think about like Inuyasha, Tenchi Muyo. Those games, like, they didn't really ever have release games over here. There's so many anime, and I'm not trying to change the subject, but I'm staying in the realm of like RPGs. There are so many like of those golden age anime that didn't get to experience. Trigun's one. And Trigun's in my goat. It's one of my goats. That didn't get to experience this heyday of anime, but that really paved the way. Like, I'm looking at Inuyasha, I'm looking at Gundam Wing, I'm looking at Tenchi Muyo, I'm looking at Record of Lodoss War, I'm looking at Trigun, Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop, where everybody knows Cowboy Bebop, that's a legendary one. But I mean, I could just look up here, Samurai Champloo, Berserk, even though Berserk kind of got a touch here recently, Ninja Scroll. I mean, I could go and go and go. X 1999. You could really reintroduce all these classic IPs with a badass new video game. Just a You all saw me lose my shit over that Gungrave Gore rebuild announcement. If they did a Trigun video game, I'm sorry, this is a Trigun channel. Like, if they did like a Trigun video game, or like a MMORPG, like Outlaw Star, where like you get to be an outlaw, or you get to be a space pirate, or you get to be on like affiliated with the Space Forces, and you just get to do the whole frontier. I mean, my God, there's so many great things out there they can do, and not just those. I mean, there's other great Golden Age anime. Tenchi Muyo, it would be an amazing Metroidvania game. And there's so much you could do with all those IPs. Point being, there should be no shortage of ideas out there for companies to do original IPs for whatever genre they want to do. Especially with JRPGs, Metroidvanias, even just action, hack and slash games. There's no shortage. If you don't have original ideas, these companies could go and license an IP from one of these dead or dying IPs out there. They're just laying by the side of the road, rotting in the sun. Resuscitate it. Jesus Christ, that thing, you know, bring it back from the dead. You know, bring them out. Dude, that would be amazing. And do a Cowboy Bebop game, but like, you're not even playing as the crew of the Bebop, like you could run into them. But imagine having like your own thing. You're your own bounty hunter. You're going and doing bounties, man. You're collecting. You're going through the gates. You're doing all this kind of stuff, you know. I mean, that is people don't understand the world building of Cowboy Bebop. One of the reasons Cowboy Bebop is so special is because the world building is amazing in Cowboy Bebop. It is just the way that world works with the bounty hunters and the law enforcement and the cartels and all the other kind of stuff. Man, there's so much you could do with that. And I really wish somebody would. Awesome gunplay, that would be amazing. Amazing. And there'd be different ways you could fight, what kind of warrior you'd want to be. A lot of people have been wanting Sonic Adventure 3 for a long time. A long time. Trigun would be, Trigun would be amazing. It would be amazing. We've got Gungrave, right? And what was interesting about Gungrave was that I remember when Gungrave came out, this was 2001, I want to say. I remember there was a website dedicated to Gungrave, but it was just like a splash page or a landing page. It just had a video running. It was this really cool video just with sketches from Tetsuya Nomura done to some music. This boom, boom, boom. I still remember the music in my head. All the fans on the different fan boards, message boards and stuff were theorizing that it was going to be a sequel to Trigun. And that it took place like hundreds of years after Trigun. And that the world kind of looked like Earth now, like the planet Gunsmoke kind of looked like Earth now. And all that kind of stuff. But it wound up being nothing like that at all. So I thought that was would have been wild, but Black Lagoon could be cool, yeah. Neon Genesis Evangelion game. I mean, you know, you could take it back even further. There's like the Slayer's Try, 3x3 Eyes, you know, Bastard, another Record of Lodoss War. I mean, that game is made to be it is an RPG. Record of Lodoss War, a lot of people don't know this. It started as a D&D game, a D&D campaign that some guys in Japan were writing. And they wrote books about it and became its own, and that's where it came from. It started as just a D&D campaign. And then it was so well written and so well fleshed out, they turned it into a series of novels. It became a manga, it became an anime, it became video games. I mean, it was one of the most successful D&D campaigns of all time. Even the Matt Mercer's group, I mean, a lot of what they do in their campaigns is inspired, if not directly inspired by it's side inspired by Record of Lodoss War. So much you can do, so much to pick from out there. Pixel remaster of Chrono Trigger, yeah, that'd be fine. Hey, how you doing, Dingustin? Minstrel Song. I never played it. I know what I can see the case. I can see the cover. I never played it, but I can see the cover of it in my head. I never played it. It was good. I never played that one. Welcome, by the way, Faith Giant. Critical Role, yeah, Critical Role. I don't know why I always space on their name. I mean, it's right there. I mean, it's very well marketed. I'm just flubbing on the name. I mean, Critical Role, even they've got their own anime out. They've got all that. That's another super successful, just D&D campaign. Of course, it helped that they were already like world famous voice actors doing a D&D campaign. But Record of Lodoss War is so amazing because it made it just on the merit and quality of its storytelling, and like it's still, for my money, one of the greats. Like, one of the things that inspired me to ever work on Aurora or try to make my own anime was Record of Lodoss War. Like, love that story so much. I'll still sit in there on my couch. Like, this is my studio. I'll go into my family room when everybody's asleep, this time of night, basically. Go in there with my laptop, and I'll turn on Crunchyroll, and I'll just let Record of Lodoss War just loop for about 3 or 4 hours while I'm just sitting there writing on my laptop. Just writing. And Record of Lodoss War is just looping. Like, little peek behind the curtain there. Fox, I've never watched it. I've heard it's fantastic. I've seen the trailers. It looks great. I've just never watched it. I have to be careful, like, with what I give time to, what I watch, what I play, all that kind of stuff, because I just don't have a lot of time, So it's when I give my time to something, like, I'm in. Like, I'm in until it's over. So, like, if I started Vox Machina, I would start with, like, how long are the seasons? Like 13, 14 episodes? Are they pretty long? Because I wanted to give it a shot. I saw somewhere, speaking of hilariously, somebody said Stranger Things season 4 or 5, or wherever it's going to be now, they're all like homeowners age now. They're all like 20 or something like that. They're like, the last season's getting ready to drop. I'm like, oh sweet, what's it gonna be, like 10 episodes? 4 episodes. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't even want to. 4 episodes is not a season make. That's a miniseries. It's a miniseries. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot soon. People are like, what do you think of Invincible? I'm like, never watched it. I've never watched it, Ryan Otley and Ryan Kirkman signed a volume of Invincible that I had. Which oddly enough, or not oddly, but one of you great Patreon supporters on my channel, one of you, I know who it is, I just don't want to mention names, but said, hey, I found out they were a big Invincible fan. I'm not like a huge Invincible fan, so I was like, hey man, I got this volume 1 signed, or I've got Omni-Man drawn by Ryan Otley in there, and Robert Kirkman signed it. Do you want it? He was like, what? So I just sent it to him. I was like, here you go. You can have it. I was going to make space in here anyway. So yeah, I hope he enjoyed that. He's not on here right now. Shoo. But yeah, all kinds of great stuff out there. You all know I'm working on a game, right? Like, since we're talking about classic JRPGs and stuff, you all know I'm working on a video game, right? I don't talk about it too much on here because when I come out here to talk, I don't want to promote my stuff because you're not here for that. I try to keep it 100, just talking about games and remake and all that kind of stuff. But I hope you all know I'm working on a video game and an anime and all kinds of crazy stuff. You all know I do that. I just want to put that out there. Maybe I should cross promote a little bit more, but I just don't think you all want that on this channel. So, but if you're ever interested, I've been trying to get over to the Aurora channel and get more content up there. I've got tons of content here that I'm just looking at an open folder here. I've got about 7 things I just have to put the finishing touches on and put them up there. I just want to get into a good weekly rotation of at least one piece of really good content going up every week over there. Because that's high production stuff. The stuff I do here, it's very heartfelt, and I put a lot of thought and time thinking into it. But as far as production, it's just me throwing on the camera and doing some video editing. With the Aurora stuff, it's a lot of sound design, it's a lot of voiceover editing, it's a lot of animation, of course, cutting, splicing, things like that, effects. Yes, Opposite of Legend, it is an RPG. It's a classic SNES style sprite-based RPG. Takes place 5 years before the beginning of Aurora Volume 1, which is this book right here. Boom. Takes place 5 years before the beginning of the tale. The problem I have with a lot of like anime tie-in games and stuff like that is like they never really tie in. They're just there. They don't really have any bearing on the story. Even the Full Metal Alchemist PS2 games, which I enjoyed for what they were, they didn't really matter in the story. So I'm working with a guy, and I don't mention people by name here on the channel just because, not that he needs protecting or anything like that, but I also want to protect his inbox, if that makes any sense, like people blowing him up or whatever. But he's a busy guy anyway. He's done work for Capcom, he's done work for Square Enix and stuff like that. And we are working on developing this RPG that takes place 5 years before the beginning of Aurora. We wanted to, and he's a fan of Aurora too, which helps because he kind of knows the world, he knows the characters. Like, we can bounce ideas off of each other for the game. It's going to be turn-based. It's going to be classic JRPG style video game storytelling. It's going to have anime cutscenes in it. It's doing the whole thing. And we now have a second game in development, which is going to be a Metroidvania style game that takes place with another of the characters from Aurora that takes place right after the RPG game. So it's like 2 different styles of game. One will take place after the other one. So I can't say too much more about it, but it's going to be really exciting. It's exciting working on, like, literally I've got some of the artwork up right here that I'm looking at. You can't see it right now. But yeah, so I'm really, really excited about getting that out so you all can see that. That's going to be really cool. So anyway, I got this folder right here, Aurora backgrounds right here, my thing. That's where some of the files are archived in there for the game, some of the backgrounds. So I've been working on that. I'm doing all the visual aesthetic stuff. Of course, I've written the scenarios for the games and everything, and I'm just basically telling him how I want to play, and we're just putting our heads together and making it work. It'll be available on Steam first, and then we're hoping to have it on PlayStation as well. Maybe throw it to mobile at some point, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about that new Digimon game, Rain. A guy I work with says that it is absolutely amazing. Like, he loves it. And so I would love to play it, but my backlog is mighty. So I can't really throw any more logs on the fire right now, if you know what I mean. But like, one thing I do is, like, when I know I can't get to a game and I won't get to a game for a while, I will watch someone play the first couple of hours of a game on YouTube. And then I'll make a decision. I'll kind of be like, oh yeah, I want to get to that. Or, that looks good, but, you know, I don't really need to get to it, you know. And if I decide that I don't need to get to a game, when I'm in here working in the studio on animation or whatever, I'll have a playthrough of that game up over here because I want to play it. But if I feel like it's not like upper echelon me needing to get to it, I'll just watch someone play through it and I'll be like, okay, I checked it out. I'm not going to come on here and comment on it like I played it. You know, I'll tell you if I've watched someone play it or whatever, which I haven't really been able to do that a lot lately either. So, but just grind time around here. like try to do full-time content creation and trying to get this studio and animation to the finish line and getting all that going. Excited about where everything's going. As you can see over here, these are orders. These are orders I'm putting together. I've got these gift sets right here. I do an Aurora gift set. It's this big beefy boy box right here, and that's everything that comes in it, like all 3 volumes, bookmarks, stickers, posters, all kinds of goodies in there. So I'm not selling you anything. I'm just saying, you know, when I'm not right here doing this, I'm over here doing this, or I'm over there getting more things together. I got piles of boxes of books and trinkets and stuff here on the floor that I position things out of and get things ready, and then when I got all these orders ready from the website and for shows and stuff like that to get ready and go out, clean it all up, get ready, get the space organized again. I'm either doing content or I'm working on animation. It's around the clock, and I would have it no other way. I love working hard. I love making this happen. And I'm hoping that very soon the world is going to see this amazing story that we're creating and be excited. I'm really blessed to have you guys on board, to have a community to come out here and talk to and to hang out with. You know, that means a lot to me. When I first started doing YouTube like this and talking about video games with you all, it was really important for me to, if nothing else, give you all a cool place to hang out and come check out a guy who is going to welcome you in, but also tell you like it is. You know what I mean? And the reason I started writing stories and making comics and stuff with Aurora was because, you know, I used to love, I'd get off work for the weekend, Friday mornings. I worked 3rd shift at a Walmart. And then I would go to the gym and work out after I got off 3rd shift to keep myself awake, to go work lunch shift at an Applebee's. And keep the working out kept me awake long enough to get through my shift at Applebee's. And about 4:30 I would get home and then pass out, and then wake up at 9 o'clock and get ready to go do it all over again. I did that Sunday night through Thursday night for like 3 years. But every Friday morning I would get up and I would get I'd be able to read like the latest Berserk scans, or whatever scans I was reading of manga at the time, because the manga weren't out. This is like 2004, so the manga weren't being released here. I'd get up on my computer and read these new scans, and I was like, you know what? I want to do that. Not like necessarily that, but what I was doing at that point, giving some people something to look forward to and a destination to go and check things out, to kind of let them escape for a little while. That was what I wanted to do. And I feel like in a roundabout way here 20 years later, I'm finally getting around to making it happen, you know. So it feels good. It feels good to do this and to do this and to do this. It feels good to do all those things. I'm really happy that you all are around. So anyway, it's funny how the music of gaming, especially the games that we all enjoy in this particular group, is just so good. I might have to steal your playlist at some point, right? Yeah, I'll put my playlist on the Discord at some point, along with some other honorable mentions and some soundtracks you all need to check out. I'm curious, is FF9 with the art style being chibi with its characters? A remake would not look like that, right? I think a remake of Final Fantasy IX, there's a way you can do that and not look SD, super deformed, or chibi. I think you just got to look at Zidane's like a Dissidia model. I think that's kind of what you're looking at. You know, also, I think with characters like Steiner and a few other ones, like I think they would modernize them a little bit but you can't get too far away from that art style because that's part of the charm of the game. You know what I mean? So you got to find a way to do it, but to also not feel goofy playing it in a modern game. Like, you have to be able to take it seriously. You have to take the characters seriously at certain points of that game for sure. There's some heavy moments. But in Vivi, I think you could leave Vivi as he is, because it kind of lends itself to that cute kind of vulnerable nature of that character, you know. And the story, Vivi's story, is a story of he has to feel vulnerable in a way for him to kind of, you know, not to spoil anything for anybody. Rise up. I'm gonna spoil stuff. I'm gonna stop talking. I love Vivi. He's one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters of all time. You've probably never heard that before. Everybody says that. I go to shows, like, who's your favorite Final Fantasy 9 character? I'm like, Vivi. Like, mine too. And like, everybody's like, mine too. But anyway, I digress. I won't spoil anything. I'll just leave it at that. Well, anyway, I guess I was going to play Final Fantasy Tactics tonight, but I wound up talking to you all forever tonight. So I'll try to come back on, probably not tomorrow night, maybe Thursday night, and play Tactics. I'm going to do some more grinding on my own. You know what? I might do a gaming stream midday tomorrow. I'll wait and see where things are at, but I've got to get some work done tonight. So I appreciate you all coming and hanging out with me. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you. Everybody super chatted tonight. You all really blew me up. I really appreciate that. Thank you for all the likes on the stream. That was pretty amazing. Thank you all for showing up. Rock stars all. So yeah, have a great night. I'll see you all soon. We do this every Tuesday night. Just come on, chat, talk it up. I'm going to be making posts on the channel and on Discord. Things you all want to talk about, hit it up. I'll leave some breadcrumbs as community posts, and then early, or like maybe middle of the day on Tuesday, I'll put some stuff out there on the channels like, hey, what do y'all want to talk about tonight? I'll pick the top 3 or 4 things and we'll get it rolling. So anyway, I hope you all have a great night. Be safe, be good to each other, keep rocking. I will see you all in the next video, live stream, whatever happens. And until then, you all have a good one. Take care.